Everybody ready? This meeting is called to order. We'll have the invocation by Reverend John Brown, St. Paul AME.
Good evening, Mayor,
Good evening.
Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney, City Manager, and good evening to the members of this great city, the city of Alachua. Gives me pleasure to give the invocation on this evening. Let us pray. Eternal and everlasting Father, we come at this appointed time just to tell you thank you. Before we ask for anything, Father, we just want to tell you thank you for everything. Thank you that you allowed us to be here at this time. Thank you that you woke us up this morning. And when we got up, we had legs that we can walk. We had a tongue that we can talk, eyes that we can see, ears that we can hear. We just thank you, Lord God, for all that you do, all that you've done, and all that you're going to do. We ask, Lord God, that as we go through this meeting, Lord God, that you will again be in our midst, Lord God. Let there be love as we communicate the ideals of this great community. Be in the hearts and the minds of our citizens, our commissioners, and everybody that's a part of this meeting. It is in the matchless name of Jesus the Christ we do pray. And every heart said amen.
Amen. Now we'll do the pledge.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, I would like to use, if you have your phones, cell phones, will you silent it? Or you can cut it off. If you need to make a phone call, will you please step out the chamber meeting room? Now we have the approval of the agenda.
A motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
It's been moved to second. We have citizen comments.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Sori Lindbergh. This is a comment about the adoption of the agenda. I just wanted, based on watching other meetings in here, I just wanted to clarify a procedural question, Mr. Mayor, if you don't mind. I don't know if this will go to our city attorney or city manager. I just wanted to confirm if there's a motion and you wanted to make a second, what is the procedure to passing the gavel over? Because I've seen it happen once, and I looked up the word gavel in the City of Alachua Unicode, and I couldn't find anything. So if I could have some clarification on that so we can understand what the procedure is, if Mr. Mayor wanted to second a motion, what he can do for that.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to answer that question. The procedures are for the mayor to pass the gavel to the vice mayor. The vice mayor is the default secondary chair of the meeting. And so he would pass the gavel, announce that he is passing the gavel for purposes of the record. And that's all that's required.
Okay, good to know. So if you wanted to pass the gavel, you would just have to hand it over and say that. And I also would like to request for the commission to consider allowing public comment on the presentation items, because it's really exciting to see live streaming is on that. So if the commission could considering allowing public comment on this presentation item, that would be very valuable. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, staff. My name is Tamara Robbins. I'm here to address the special presentations item. I guess it's item 1. So that the commission does allow for the public to have input. There's 3 items on there. And I know you're going to vote to accept the proclamation, I believe. But the item B, CarreerSource, and item C, Livestreaming, I think those are really items of interest. And certainly the live streaming, it's been expressed that there's a high level of interest in this community on that. And in fact, the board expressed a high level of interest in that. So I hope you'll put a motion on the floor or just simply open the floor up to citizen input on the special presentations. Thank you.
Is there any more comments from citizens? If not, if not, we'll vote. Commissioner Ringerson,
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a quick note? Commissioner Williams has informed me that she will not be in attendance in today's meeting. So it'll be a 4 vote for throughout this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we'll move to special presentation A, 2026 Election Proclamation.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Ms. Vice Mayor, Commission, City Manager, and City Attorney. I am Leanne Williams, Deputy City Clerk. The City of Alachua Code of Ordinances, Section 14-2 states, regular elections shall be held on the second Tuesday in April of each year for the election of mayor and city commissioners whose terms of office expire. The City Code also stipulates that any runoff election shall be held on the third Tuesday following the former election day. Election day will be Tuesday, April 14th, 2026. In the event no candidate receives a majority, more than 50% of the vote, the runoff election shall be held on Tuesday, May 5th, 2026. According to the City Code Section 14-5, the mayor shall issue a proclamation calling the election. Such proclamation shall specify what offices are to be elected, the length of time such officers are to serve, questions to be called to a vote, if any, and at that time, the time and place of holding such election. The election for 2026 will be for seat 3 for a 3-year term on the the Alachua City Commission, if any other item may be included on the ballot. And that will be the only item on the ballot. The qualifying period will be from noon, Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 at noon, through Tuesday, February 24, 2026 at noon. The polling places will be the Legacy Park Multipurpose Center and the clubhouse at Turkey Creek. This year, the Cleather Hathcock Senior Community Center will be under construction. Therefore, this polling place will be held at Legacy Park Multipurpose Center. Per the City Code, Section 14-18, the City Commission hereby declines to participate in the early voting procedures for its municipal elections. The qualifying fee and alternate petition process have not changed since last year. The qualifying fee is set by ordinance payable to the City of Alachua from the campaign account and is 1% of the commission compensation, or $165 for a commissioner's seat. State statute sets the state election assessment fee at 1% of the commission's compensation payable from the campaign account. The recommended action is to approve the calling of the election, specifying the seats, length of term, time, and the place for the April 2026 City Commission election by having City Attorney Walker read the proclamation. I'm sorry, Ms. Balu.
This is a proclamation from the office of the mayor, Walter Welch. I, Walter Welch, mayor of the city of Alachua, Florida, do hereby proclaim an election is called for Tuesday, April 14th, 2026, to fill seat 3 on the Alachua City Commission for a 3-year term. Whereas the successful candidate for seat 3 shall serve a 3-year term ending April 2029, and whereas the polling places will be open from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. at the Legacy Park Multipurpose Center, Precinct 53 and Precinct 63, and the clubhouse at Turkey Creek, Precinct 03. And whereas at the conclusion of the qualifying period, this proclamation shall be published once each week for 4 weeks in a newspaper of general circulation published in the county. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand this 26th day of January 2026.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Now we'll move.
I got it. I'll move to approve the calling of the elections specifying open seats, length of terms, and time and place of April 2026 City Commission election by having the city attorney, this Scott Walker, read the proclamation. You need to amend that, but I motion that.
I'll second that. I don't think I'm working. Hear me?
And that?
It's been moved to second. We have any comments from the citizen?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Commission. My name is Tamara Robbins. So I have a concern about the fact that it's stated that the Hathcock Center is going to be under construction. That is only 2 months away, 2.5 months from here. It's hard for me to believe the current building has not been determined, the status of that. That has to go through a process of determining it. So is it really going to be absolutely under construction? That building's going to be gone and the groundbreaking is going to be happening. You haven't even approved a design. I mean, you authorized over $300,000 for Monarch to come up with a design, and you're saying it's going to be under construction. Who decided that timeline, and who decided that the precinct location was going to be moved to the Legacy Park? Curious about that. Who made that decision? Right? It seems like the construction doesn't look like there's anything, no dirt flying over there. So it seems like it would be prudent to have the election and then you start construction. Okay, this is not in the interest of the citizens at all. And you're only 2.5 months away and you're saying construction is already going to be happening. I don't believe it. And it's up to you guys to decide where your precincts are going to be located. And moving it over to Legacy is not in the best interest of the voters. There needs to be an orientation program created per Rule 8B of your rules and procedures. City manager failed to do that. That was Mr. DeRosa, failed to do that for the last 2 new commissioners that were elected. I'm sure Mr. Valadares, if he's in that position, is going to make that correction. I'd like to see more information about the election on the website. When the ballot is posted in the newspaper, the print is so tiny. Seriously, Alachua County today could not get any tinier print. You can't even read it. That's not okay. I mean, honestly, just say it. You guys do the best job of keeping an election a secret ever. You don't put anything on the website. You don't put out any press releases. When it's put in the newspaper, it is on the tiniest font possible that people in this community don't even know there's an election. That must change. So I think that's it. The ballot, there should be access to, and actually you don't do early voting. People can come in City Hall and vote early. That's not true. You can come right in here, get your ballot. Oops, I'm going to vote absentee. Oh, okay, well, you go over there and sit in that room and fill out your ballot, and then you hand it in. So I don't know what that's about. That's like an insider thing, if you know that you can do that. So if you're going to do early voting, then do early voting. If you're not, then don't. Thank you.
Hi, Story Lindbergh. Did I hear correctly that the Hathcock Center will not be available as a precinct this April for the election? Is that correct? As far as we know as of right now? That's right. Okay. That's a really big concern for our neighbors because after the last election, that precinct got some heat in the news and other stuff, and I'm really concerned about the people who rely on walking there and going there. There is no way to get from the neighborhood around Hathcock to Legacy. We don't have public transportation. The sidewalks are barely at the strategic meeting for the commission. I heard about sidewalks not being available to Legacy, and also who can walk all those miles, especially if you're a senior or disabled. So we have a few months. I really hope you all can come up with an alternative locally that's within, a quarter mile, half a mile. I don't know if you can bring in a portable with air conditioning and a bathroom that voters can come with wheelchair access to use, because it almost feels like a little bit of suppression if you're going to remove a whole precinct. So that is a concern, but you have lots of time to figure out an alternative, and you have lots of time to figure it out. So I really encourage you all to do that. If you need help in the community, we can figure out a way to do it as well. Tent, whatever we can do. Those votes are very important. That's a third of it. So thank you for listening.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners, and City Attorney and Attorney. My name is Jackson Yumas, and I want to announce that I am running for City Commission Seat 3. I spent the last several months in the community listening to some very serious concerns of the citizens all across Alachua. And I feel now is the time for me, based on what I've heard from the community, to kind of step up and work with the city here to try to address a lot of these concerns. One of the concerns is what I just heard as far as the Hathcock Center. We really need to revisit that because, again, transportation is a huge, huge issue for the people here in Alachua, and not just for voting, going to the grocery store and so many other things, doctor visits, pharmacy, whatever it is. Those are very serious concerns. There are churches in the community that we can possibly look at utilizing. I'm sure there's some local pastors that are willing to open up their church home so that it can accommodate, the election and, whatever else may be needed going forward while the Hathcock Center is being under construction. Again, I really think we need to revisit that. I really think that, some reconsideration needs to be done. We trust you guys to make the decisions. However, we need you to have our best interest at heart and listen to the concerns of the people, not just next to you, but the people out here, because we matter too. It's a partnership with the city. We elected you guys to be in partnership with us, to be the voice for us when it matters. And it's very crucial that we continue to look at that and do that. Thank you, and hope to work with you guys soon. Win, lose, or draw, I still want to work and function in this community to address a lot of the concerns that I've heard over the last several months. Thank you.
If there be no more comments from the city,
Oh, yeah, Mr. Mayor, I do have some questions to follow up on this. Um, just to confirm some things, Mr. Mayor, with the city manager. Um, with the current Hathcock Center status, Mr. City Manager, are we on schedule to have construction start on April or before April? Like, what's the status?
So, Mr. Mayor, as we coordinate these efforts, we have reviewed it with the supervisor of election. As we were setting down the schedule for the calendar year, the Half Clock Center is scheduled to be under construction during that period of time. There has been delays, but actions with the supervisor of election to approve the new site, there are pre-approved sites that need to be done. And so legacy has been identified, has been coordinated, signs will be provided. We will follow all the rules and regulations as we identify that new site. And so our goal is to move as quickly as we can with construction to get the Hathcock Center underway. And this allows us to do so, Mr. Mayor.
Another question, Mr. Mayor. So the Turkey Creek polling place is a private polling location, is my understanding. What it seems like is we were aware of that the Hathcock Center was going to be under construction during our elections, and then we did not seek any community involvement to identify a polling location within that district. Was, I guess, a question for the city manager is what outreach did we do to try and identify a location?
Mr. Mayor, I'm not familiar with a private polling location definition. But again, we coordinate with the supervisors of election. This has been a pre-approved site. And so these are sites that have been pre-approved. And those are the options we utilize to, again, provide the best reaction for our residents.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
we'll have a vote. I'll start with Commissioner Fletcher.
So, Mr. Mayor, on this, I understand our charter obligations to make sure our elections go through. I'm disappointed that we're removing a polling location out of that district and making it more difficult for members of our community to exercise their rights to vote. Unfortunately, due to charter obligations, I'll have to vote yes.
Commissioner Ringerson.
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown.
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye. Now we'll move to item B, CarreerSource.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. I'm David Wisner, Economic Development Manager for the city. And here is a representative from CareerSource North Central Florida is here this evening to provide a brief overview of the services offered at CareerSource's pending City of Alachua satellite office, which will be temporarily located at the Swick House. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and members of the commission. Thank you for having me today. So I did bring in our 2025 year in review, which goes over some of the accomplishments that we've had throughout the year with CareerSource in our 6-county region. So as you all know, we did absorb in North Central Florida the Florida Crown 4 counties, which include Dixie, Gilchrist, Union, and Columbia. And our mission has been to ensure that we had availability for everyone, especially within the rural areas. So we know that transportation is typically an issue in those rural communities. So we have been working really hard over the last year to find satellite offices, which we will be able to provide the services needed to members of our community. So some of the services that we do provide are recruitment events for any businesses in the area which are looking for assistance in finding help. We provide business services, so we do job postings. We also provide our veterans with services. So anyone that has a severe barrier to employment, we work with them one-on-one. They do get a DVOP, and they assist them with learning through either the WIOA program or on-the-job training. And then we work really hard to get them, ready for employment. So we have had 54 recruitment events this year. We have done 12,196 comprehensive business services, and we have assisted 40 specialized services to veterans. We also work really closely with the Welfare Transition Program as well as SNAP. So we assist them with meeting the program requirements, and we also assist them with finding employment. And we have been successful this year with assisting welfare transition participants. 60 of them were able to gain employment and 63 SNAP recipients. We've been working with some area businesses as well with on-the-job training, which provides the services that they need as well as skills that are needed in the area. And we have spent out of the grant money that we're given $40,000 to assist with 5 different employers. We do job referrals. So we're able to look at what's posted, look at the skills that our participants have or our clientele has, and match them to jobs. So we do the referrals. We did submit 334 referrals this year. We had 26 degrees or certifications earned through our WIOA participation. And we had 64 WIOA adult or dislocated worker participants enrolled. So out of the 64, there were 26 who are in certificates. There are still some who are in school. And then we really focus on out-of-school youth. So that's our future in the area. So we did have 132 local youth enrolled. We did have 22 certifications earned, and we do offer the youth program with a paid internship for work experience. A lot of them don't have any work experience, and in order to build a better resume and look as though they're a better candidate, we did spend about $73,000 on work experience for the youth. So I want to thank you for allowing us, to utilize the Swick House as a satellite office. I really think that it will assist the county of Alachua and the rural residents, and will be able to provide better service to those who can't get into Gainesville.
Mr. Mayor, may I make a comment?
Yes, you may.
Thank you for connecting employers to skilled folks. And I know if they're not skilled, one of the services you guys provide is training to get those folks up to skills for the workforce. Also, Mayor, I'd like to thank you. This is an item that you championed back in July. You knew the resource that CarreerSource provided, and what we just heard earlier about transportation being an issue. We are grabbing government sources and we're bringing them local to benefit our community. So thank you in advance for the work you're going to do. And then, Mayor, thank you for allowing us to connect these 2 dots and allow those resources to be local.
I also want to thank you. And I wanted to ask, do you still do job fair?
Yes, so we do have the recruitment events. I know we did one for Alachua County not that long ago. I don't have one on the schedule currently, but I'm sure that that will be something that we have coming up. We also tried to include the high schools with some kind of a job or career fair, but I did hear that funding was a little short this year. So I'm not sure if that's going to happen in April as usual.
Oh, okay. Because I know when I used to work with you guys in 2018 as a workforce specialist assistant, we did job fairs. All right. Well, thank you anyway, and we're so glad to have.
Thank you very much.
One more follow-up question, Mayor. I know this is stuff we're working on right now. When will be your first official day?
I'm not 100% sure yet. I know they already have somebody figured out for who's going to be there. This is going to be by appointment only over there. But I'm not sure when the actual start date or the open date will be for that office.
Wonderful. Mayor, we will keep you, the board, and our residents informed through our social media accounts so they can go sign up and line up. Thank you again.
Thank you very much.
We'll move to our next item. C, live screen.
Could I get the lights? Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Attorney. My name is Rodolfo Valadares, and this evening I'll be providing a progress report of staff's efforts for live streaming. So one of the goals we have set for ourselves for live streaming is to improve public accessibility. We want to expand access for our residents when they cannot attend the meetings in person. We want to expand access to our seniors and individuals with disabilities and our residents that are in caregiving responsibilities. We also want to enhance our civic engagement. We want it to make it easier for residents to stay informed about our local issues. We want to encourage greater communication and awareness and participate in our city affairs and to support informed public for future meetings. And additionally, we want to support modern communications and expectations. We want to align the city's operations with current technology standards and complement the communications that we already have, such as the web page and social media. So those are our goals. And this is the steps it takes for us to get there with direction from the board. So the first thing, first step is to design and conduct a survey of our city residents to determine their preferred ways of communication, gauge their interest in live streaming, analyze that survey, and present its findings. The next step is an accounting effort, is to evaluate all of our equipment that we have right now in place, determine the current capabilities and any limitations it may have, and then provide recommendations if there's anything we can do to improve. And if there are things we can improve or we're missing a piece to make this work, the next step is to provide the technical specifications to do so. Also, to determine the cost to make sure it aligns with what our budget goals are, and to anticipate any annual maintenance costs for licensing, and then to develop a capital improvement plan so we can sustain this forever. And so if there's a computer that needs to be purchased, to have every 5 years for it to make sure it's in our capital improvement program to sustain what we're working on. But also to make sure we can do proper record retention. So we have to keep all of our records to make sure we have the infrastructure in place to do so. And then, of course, to do training, to make sure our staff is equipped and trained properly to use the equipment. Those are the steps for us to get to our goals. And so staff went ahead and developed the scope of work, and we prepared the bid documents. And so this is basically what the bid documents look like. This is summary work. And the purpose is what I described earlier, but one of the lines in there is all live streaming services must comply with the Americans with Disabilities Act requirements, including closed caption, as well as applicable public record retention requirements. That's essential because that's what we're held to do. So all those steps that were shown earlier are broken down into tasks. And these tasks summarize what we just discussed. A schedule was put together, aligning each task and the time it would take from the notice to proceed. We defined the deliverables, what needed to be submitted. We defined the proposal requirements. We did the basis of award, and then we did a schedule of values. This schedule of values is like a menu in a restaurant where you identify all the tasks and how much it'll take. For example, it gives flexibility for the city. And so we'll jump to 2. If someone comes in here and says, you have all the equipment necessary to go ahead and do live streaming, we can skip the technical specifications and the cost evaluations. This allows us to move as quickly as we can. So all those bid docs were put together. We advertised the bid on the 12th of November. We held the pre-bid meeting here on the 19th of November, and then we had a bid opening meeting on December 15th. And so on that bid opening, no one submitted a bid. We received no bids. And so we ended up contacting a vendor that provided the service that we were informed of, and we met with them and we started negotiations. And so this is where we are right now. So we're negotiating with that vendor all those steps that we just talked about, and we're going through them. The next steps are to have an agreement. And with that agreement, we will take it back to this board for your approval. And once I have your approval, we'll provide the next steps moving forward. So that is the progress report for the live streaming for Alachua. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have some questions on this presentation. So in the main motion that was made in June of 2025, there was requested that any of the stuff be passed through the Senior Advisory Board. What steps have we taken to include our Senior Advisory Board in this process?
Mr. Mayor, as you recall, there was a presentation that was provided to this commission on the responses. So we did meet with the Senior Advisory Board. We did provide a survey. The summary results of this survey has been presented to you guys in the past in regards to the Senior Advisory Board.
I just want to be clear because there was one survey made motion made by Commissioner Brown here, and then there was a separate different motion regarding live streaming and options regarding live streaming being presented to the Senior Advisory Board. I just want to make sure we're not confusing the two. So are you saying that the survey was related to the live streaming, or was it related to Ms. Brown's motion that we passed in June?
So what was just presented to the board was a holistic approach to address both those motions.
Well, with that, I'm gonna move to accept the presentation from Mr. Valadares to allow a public comment, as this is we're trying to implement this for the public, so I think the public deserves to have a say regarding the status of this.
I was going to call comments from the citizens on the subject, not on the agenda.
Mr. Mayor, I think we need a second. We need a second, so I'll second that.
It's been moved to second, but we still will have comments from citizens. Not on the agenda, on the motion.
Hello, it's Soria Lindbergh. Thank you for making the motion in the second. We appreciate it. This is a long time coming, so it's very exciting to see there's a plan. I just want to remind the board that when I did my research on this, High Springs live streams their meetings to social media, and I made a public records request and I said, how much do you pay a year? It's $190, less than $200. And I think that involves some technology on the back end. And then I asked Alachua County, I said, how much do you pay for live streaming a year? And as you know, if you've watched their meetings, it's very They have lots of meetings every week, but you can do a search for a word. I could look up purple, and anytime they talk about the color purple, you can watch exactly where it is in the meeting. And they pay $40,000 a year, a little more technical. So I just wanted to share that. And this is a very nice presentation. When I saw this was on the agenda, I got so excited. I left my family, I ran to City Hall, and I was like, can I please inspect a copy of this presentation? And I was told it's going to be a verbal presentation. There is nothing written. And I said, can I inspect any notes or any drafts? And they said, there's nothing there. So you've probably done a lot of work since Thursday at 2:00 to have that there. So I'm glad we can see some progress. It's been 7 months since we asked for this, June 23rd to January 26th. And hopefully we can squish some of that time. We're live streaming right now to Facebook. Lots of comments about what's happened already. Someone said you just need a phone and a tripod, and that's what I'm doing, but I'm not a city. I'm just a person with some internet. And I also want to include, when you do live stream, something you don't have to wait to do, Mr. Mayor, is post the old videos. You have hundreds of hours of commission meetings from the recent years that you could put in an archive we've talked about on your website right now. There is a button that says video archive or city meetings, and there's nothing there. So until live streaming starts, it would be nice to have the archive up as well. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for the city attorney.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Regarding ADA compliance and dead links on websites, does that violate ADA compliance if we have links that are specifying to go somewhere and it goes not where it's supposed to go?
So there are a litany, hundreds of technical requirements for websites. The focus and the crux of them is readability for individuals who either need to use screen readers or individuals who need verbal cues, audio cues presented by the website. Most of the requirements also deal with things like making sure that it's keyboard accessible. As to whether or not there's a specific issue regarding a link that says that you can click on and then the page is empty, I don't believe that any of the requirements require you to have content on every page, but they do require that the content, if it is on the page, meets certain standards. Does that make sense?
Mr. Mayor, for the city manager, I think we may need to look into that.
Mr. Mayor, Tamara Robbins, thank you for the motion and the second for give the public the opportunity. I agree that the restoration of the video access from the archives of the videos should be restored. Mr. Mayor, if there's a reason why that isn't being done, I would appreciate an explanation from the city manager. Is it just because it isn't an ADA issue? The American with Disabilities Act only applies to live streaming, not archive information and videos. When you're live streaming, you have to do your closed captioning so people can access the information. But archive videos, that's just a matter of, for some reason, they're being withheld and refused to be restored on the website. And I think it's time that an update to why that is given to us. And in fact, Mr. Mayor, I believe it was Commissioner Williams, and forgive me if it was Commissioner Ringerson, one of these two commissioners asked for an update on the restoration of the video archives at the last meeting. So that seems appropriate. That would be given right now. So that's it. Happy to see the live streaming, but the restoration of the videos, this is why they were taken down, is just ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. And nobody ever explains why. Where did it go? Why don't you restore it? The only thing I've been told in the past by the clerk's office is that it's a matter of storage. Really? Storage, like data storage, like there's no storage on the internet to do this or whatever it is. I'm not a tech person, Mr. Mayor, but I'm sure Commissioner Fletcher could enlighten me. But question, why are the videos gone and why have they not been restored? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Julie Smith, and as you guys know, I own High Springs. What's happening? Recently, there was over 40 restaurants in Gainesville in the area that were in a major lawsuit because of their websites not being ADA compliant. Any video or anything that you guys put up in your website needs to be ADA compliant. So those old videos, you might want to convert them to where they are eligible, be able to read the bottom of them before they're ADA compliant. You can't just throw old videos up there that you guys took that were not ADA compliant or that did not have the wordage on the bottom, that weren't in the structure of light and being able to visibility. Some of it is just being able to see the words clearly, contrast of colors. So I worked with over 10 businesses recently to get their websites ADA compliant to reduce the risk of them getting a lawsuit. And I can only imagine what a city government website, laws and regulations, especially on ADA compliant, is. So being able to just upload the videos, it's not that easy. It's not. Even being able to store them, you're talking about major, major storage. I mean, come on, you can go to university and see their major computer for being able to store that kind of data. It's not that simple. And please make sure anything you guys put up there has to be ADA compliant because the lawyer's going to make them. It's not as simple as that. And unfortunately, we do have some sue-happy people that went around and sued a lot of major restaurants and scared a lot of businesses to where they had to go back and make their websites ADA compliant, just like Rodolfo was talking about. You have to tread lightly, especially when you're doing a new website, an upgraded website. You better do it right until it lasts for a long time if you're investing that kind of money, because you're going to have to redo it. And unfortunately, that's the world we've come to. So I do want to let you guys know that those videos, you just can't upload them. You have to make those videos ADA compliant. You have to transition them to where the wordage comes. And it takes a lot of time. You're talking hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours. So I do have to agree with what Rodolfo said in that it does matter to make it ADA compliant before you can upload that stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. My name is John Havlick. I live here in downtown Alachua, and I don't know a whole lot about this discussion, so I don't really have a dog in the fight, as they say. But I just heard two counter views. One saying it's easy to kind of maybe do, one that's not. As far as the legality of uploading past videos, and I guess I would pose this question, if I may, to the entire city commission, but specifically maybe to the attorney. Is that indeed the fact? I guess I'm confused because I heard two different things, and I was hoping you could clarify that.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to clarify. So it is not correct that just because we upload pre-recorded videos that they do not have to be ADA compliant. There are different requirements for live streaming ADA compliance versus pre-recorded video ADA compliance, but all of them have to be ADA compliant if we have them up on the website.
If we
absolutely.
haven't posted, and that puts the city at risk of liability.
If they are not ADA compliant, absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, I guess my only final thing would be is just be nice if such could be done. Do it right, but then do it at the same time as is requested. I think it's a fair enough exchange, if you will. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you. We will move to vote, and I will start with
Aye.
Commissioner Fletcher.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a comment before I vote. It's interesting to hear that High Springs can achieve live streaming for under $200. What makes that interesting is because Walkers and Folds also represents the city of High Springs. And I know they wouldn't advise us differently than how they would advise High Springs to implement their live streaming. So I think there's some opportunity to make sure that our live streaming option is affordable. And with that, I'll be voting aye.
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye. So we will move to 3.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Kenyatta Curtis, and I'm honored to serve as the city's of Alachua's new public information officer. With a background in public communications, and community outreach, my goal is to share the city's stories and keep our residents informed. I'm the proud wife and mother of 4 Santa Fe High School graduates. Go Raiders. And I look forward to supporting your vision and amplifying the positive work being done here in Alachua. I'm here tonight to show a short video that highlights this year's MLK theme and to thank the tireless MLK committee and our supportive city manager, thank you, and a dedicated city commission. What if everyone made one promise? One pledge can change a life. 1,000 pledges can change a community. This is our promise. This is our moment. I pledge. If you will, please mute your mics for a short video presentation.
I pledge. I pledge. I pledge. I pledge to make my community a better place through my actions and hopefully it can be reflected towards others around.
I pledge.
I pledge.
Hi, I'm Cheryl, and I pledge to work for the community to bring you the best in arts and culture and entertainment for you because I believe in serving the people. I pledge. I pledge. I pledge.
I pledge.
I pledge. I pledge to make the world more colorful through my art. I pledge. I pledge. I pledge.
I pledge.
I pledge to continue to support the kids in our community and give them the same opportunities that this community gave to me. I pledge. I pledge.
Thank you so much.
We move to item 4. Hearing.
Mr. Mayor, just to clarify, the motion I made was regarding live streaming, accepting the presentation. And then I believe the second item after that is comments from citizens on subjects not on the agenda.
Before you come off, we have a vote. Oh,
we already voted.
Oh, I thought I did. All right. You may go. Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, Brent.
I'm sorry. We have public comments on that agenda. It said, Oh, not on the agenda. Comments from the citizen on the subject, not on the
Hello, Soria Lindberg. Probably last time I'll talk today. People are already really mad about the Halfcock Center. The word that it could go away. A flurry of messages I got, and what the city could do, if the commission would consider, is you can you hear us okay, Mr. Mayor? You can hear us okay?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I was just trying to adjust my hearing
Oh,
aid.
thank you. So something the commission could do, if you can consider, whether it's hopefully at this meeting, if not the next one, is the commission can make a motion to direct the supervisor of elections, of course, through the city manager. I don't know how the details work, but the supervisor of elections can find a suitable alternative to the Halfcock Center. There's a church adjacent, there's a library across the road. The supervisor of elections can work with you to make this possible. I'm going to make a public records request tomorrow to find out what kind of communication has gone on between the city and supervisor of elections. This is a really big deal, and people are really upset, and it's only been an hour. But we're also optimistic. It doesn't have to be the final say. If the commission works with the city manager or whoever that works with the supervisor of elections to find a suitable alternative, what could then happen, Mr. Mayor, is they would come back and you can redo your proclamation or amend it. So we can change it. It's not set in stone. It just has to be within a certain time period. If you don't like that idea, and when this is how it is, I urge the commission to find and pay for transportation, shuttles, encourage mail-in ballots or whatever you can do. So I encourage you to pursue this with the supervisor of elections because you still have time. There's still time to make it right. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, we may need to remind citizens these are items not agenda.
I may want to remind you that these are items not on the agenda.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and everybody. This is not, but the understanding I got about the Halfcock Center, that I got, but city manager and Mr. Mayor, y'all said the building, y'all supposed to start on the building first of the year. But now, as the election getting ready to come up, y'all talking about doing the building now. But I don't think that's right, because the citizens do not, me personally, this is my first time hearing about the building going to be worked on. That's my agenda.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I heard what you said about speaking about this is, I understand, I'm well aware this is public comment of items not on the agenda, but this item of changing the precinct location should have been a separate item that should have been brought to this board like months ago. I mean, how long y'all been planning on the Halfcock Center? It's been in the works a long time. According to the city manager, there's a schedule of construction which is delayed. It's not going to be happening during the election, right? That is not going to happen. And that building is going to be sitting there, and you're going to have to tell the public, oh, we moved it because why? Why did you move it? I have a few guesses why it was moved. This does not have to happen. This is a big decision that should have been made by this board, not by staff communicating with the supervisor of election and them cherry picking where they want to have it located. This is your decision, board, and it should have been here as a separate item, and you should have been deciding. I mean, this is staff deciding on where people are going to vote. The burden of planning an election and the announcing of an election and establishing the rules per city code is on this legislative body, not on city staff. This is another underhanded maneuver by city staff to control what goes on in the city, and the elections are major. So I suggest you all put a motion on the floor that you are going to amend your proclamation and you direct the city manager to come back with alternate locations, and you all decide where you're going to do it, because it should be right at Cleath or Hathcock. Construction is not going to start there. That's ridiculous. It's 2.5 months away and you haven't even approved a design plan. So you need to reverse this. This is a decision needs to be reversed, and it should have never been. You guys were all blindsided by this, right? When did you find out about this? Thursday? When they dropped the agenda? Yeah, y'all and staff changed the voting location. That is not right. Take your power back and put the location where it needs to be. And Mr. Mayor, for the city manager's understanding, Turkey Creek is a private location inside a gated community in a private clubhouse. So get your voting precinct, all of you, back where it needs to be. That's where the public's expecting it. And shame on the staff for blindsiding you guys with this, and the public.
Thank you.
Thank you again, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager and Attorney. So, to be honest, I wasn't aware of this, and it just seems to me a couple things. It takes a long time to often do a building project or something like that, and if it is going to be in delay, it just seems simple enough to either leave it where it is and start after, because even getting the live stream set up is taking a long time, isn't it? Yeah. So these things get delayed and they take long. I know construction quite well. So it might be a good idea to perhaps move as a city commission to allow that to be there. It means a lot. I come up to Legacy to vote myself, and it's easy for me. I can get around, and I know other members of our community have the Hathcock Center. So I would just like to see us do something. There's a church next door, and I'm sure they'd be happy to work with us. I think it just shows a good commitment to the community. I think it just shows we're all willing to work and kind of I don't think it has to be that way. I would hope that even with staff support, maybe we could look at some options. So that's my encouragement. Just see if we could find a reasonable resolve. And if the construction isn't going to really happen, which probably realistically, I would put this challenge out. After the election, what if there's no construction even started yet? People might remember that. That's all I would say. Remember, we want to end things always on nice notes, when we end an exchange or begin an exchange. So that's my concern. I think that would just not look good if that was the case, that no construction started, et cetera. So just please consider me. I would like to encourage you to move to look at an option if we have time. And if indeed, what is that time? Things can get done. It's important enough that we should give it a priority. I think it'd be false to say otherwise. Thank you very much.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioner, City Manager, City Attorney. Just to kind of tag along with the gentleman just left his said, I think we do need to end on a good note. And I want to end by saying I appreciate the work you guys do and the effort that you have put in. And I think voices have been heard. And I could just see the body language and different things that have gone on to speak of that, we're going to address the issues. And I just want to say I appreciate the job you're doing and everything it is. It is hard. Leadership is hard. It's a hard job. I've been pastoring in this city for over 26 years and serving in many different capacities in many different organizations. And leadership is tough. However, I believe you're doing a great job. You're not going to make everybody happy. You're not going to please everybody. You're not going to always, get it right. But when you do miss it, just go back and see what we can do and try to make it better. And I really appreciate all that you're doing. And I want to end on that note. Say, I love living here in the Good Life community. And I've been raised here, born here all my life, and don't plan on going nowhere. So I appreciate the work you guys are doing. I appreciate all our citizens showing up, doing what you do. And that's a mighty fine PIO, too. I want to add that on record. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll move to the next item.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, Commissioners, City Manager, City Attorney. My name is Brent Lanier. I'm the Contracts Manager for the City of Alachua, and I'm here this evening to discuss a recent city real property acquisition. And to orient us, we're going to be discussing lift station number 19. For over here to the left is the Public Services Ops Center, and lift station is right down the road off of 441 on the right-hand side. More than 15 years ago, the city of Alachua underwent a review of its occupied real property. This review consisted of many locations throughout the city, mostly in the public services sector. And wastewater lift station number 19 is one such site. Title was unclear until the city conducted a thorough property search, which included employing the services of EDA Consultants Incorporated and attorney Gary Grunder of High Springs. And attorney Gary Grunder ordered a title insurance search and policy, which the city now has to protect the city. The work of these two assisted in establishing that legal title was held by the University of Florida Foundation, commonly called UFF. Protracted negotiations resulted in the delivery of the subject deed here for Lift Station 19 from UFF to the city. The city agreed to and has separately paid the costs associated with the work of both EDA and attorney Gary Grunder. These costs were approximately $3,565.95 in total. Although Section 18.01C of the City of Alachua's Purchasing and Sales Policy and Regulations exempts approval by the City Commission, staff found it to be important to keep the City Commission apprised of this real property transaction and the associated costs with such acquisition. The recommended action of this agenda item is for the City Commission to approve the acceptance and recording of the deed from the University of Florida Foundation to the City of Alachua for the site of Lift Station 19. If there's any questions, I'll be happy to address them.
Mr. Mayor, just to clarify on this, we're just accepting the property. Is that correct?
Correct. We now have a legal title.
Okay, and we already went through all the steps of the monetary aspect, I guess.
Correct. It was, in a sense, donated to the city from the University of Florida Foundation.
Thank you.
And the only cost associated with the acquisition was the survey from EDA and the title insurance policy through attorney Gary Grunder's office.
I guess, Mr. Mayor, I'll move to approve the acceptance and recording of the deed. Hold on one second, Mr. Mayor. On that. Madam Attorney, is that the correct verbiage?
Which part?
So we're just going to say move to approve the acceptance.
Acceptance and recording. Yes.
Clarify that. Okay, Mr. Mayor, let me try that again. I'd like to move to approve the acceptance and recording of the deed from the University of Florida Foundation, Inc. to the City of Alachua, site of Lift Station number 19, tax partial number 05949-020-00.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved in second. We'll have comments not on the agenda. Comments on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tamara Robbins. I see this is for Lift Station 19, and Lift Station 19, I believe, has. I can talk in the dark. That's okay. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, due to the delay, can we restart the clock on the public's comment timer?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So this is for Lift Station 19, and what I believe that one has backup generation, correct? That has a backup generator, Mr. Mayor? City Manager, confirm. Anybody confirm that has a backup generator?
Yes. believe so.
Well, okay. I mean, I don't know why it's so hard just get an answer. Okay, so I know last year that the Department of Environmental Protection did an inspection of the city's waste treatment plant. And so I was reviewing that inspection report, and one of the just comments in the one of the comment areas was that the city has numerous lift stations, and 10 of them are without backup generation. So my question is, how many total lift stations are in the city? And what is the plan to make sure all lift stations are supplied with backup generation? That's a real safety issue. And in fact, when I see the backup generators, I always like kind of go, gosh, that's unfortunate, because they just seem like they're just not protected. Like they're all rusty, and it just seems like they need to be maintained better. It just doesn't seem correct that there may be a time when they'll falter because they're just not being, they don't have any shelter, they're just out rusting in the elements. So the question is, how many total lift stations are in the city of Alachua currently? And the 10 that are noted in the DEP inspection report stated that 10 did not have backup generation. And I'd like to know what the plan is in the capital improvement plan. I see there was one in the budget amendment changes that you guys approved. There was one lift station, I don't know, or one backup generator. I don't know for what lift station. But that's my question. How many total lift stations? 10 of them don't have backup generators. And when do you plan to build them? That's a public safety issue. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we vote. I will start with Commissioner Fletcher,
Aye.
Commissioner Bringerson,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Shirley Brown,
Aye.
Mayor Welch, aye. We'll move to item 5, agenda items A. Oh, B. I'm sorry.
Mr. Mayor, this is the city manager contract. As you're aware, at the previous meeting in January 12th, 2026, the City Commission voted to hire Mr. Valadares as the permanent city manager and directed our office to prepare a contract. A copy of that contract is attached as Exhibit A. As you can see, the funding source is available from the general fund. What you have in your contract, I'll note two things. One, I found a typographical error. It's my mistake on the fourth whereas clause. I have interim city manager, so I would delete interim. My apologies. And then we also have, we'll fill in Mr. Valadares' address in the highlighted section. I can't remember what page it is, but on the notices portion. The contract provides for many of the same terms as the interim contract that you had. We used both previous interim city manager contract for Mr. Valadares as well as previous city manager contracts for your permanent city managers. In preparing this contract, I'm happy to answer any questions that you all have, but I won't belabor the point.
Does any of my other commissioners have questions they would like to ask first? Okay. For the city manager, I just want to clarify under section 12, have you had adequate time to review this agreement and consult independent counsel if you choose?
Yes.
All right. And do you believe this agreement as written is in the best interest of the city?
Yes.
Okay. One thing I want to point out, under section 8.d, the city shall provide severance in accordance with section 8, paragraph A above. When we look back at that section, all it says, it is understood and agreed that the commission will be the sole judge as to the effectiveness and efficiency with which the employee performs his employment. This employee serves as the pleasure at the pleasure of the commission. I'm concerned with that verbiage regarding if we were to read it as line, it would pretty much say that there would be no severance or anything for that for the city manager. So there's some concerns there that I have.
Jacob, what was it? What?
So
Section what?
So if we look at section D, final sentence of that, the city shall provide severance in accordance. We jump back to A, and we see that there's a clause there. If a judge were to read it line by line, there would be no afforded severance underneath that.
Could I have the city attorney please clarify that section?
So that section I do believe should reference section B is where the severance is. We did a couple of different edits, so I apologize. I didn't catch that misreference. So that would read as the way it was intended to be drafted, paragraph B, which is the paragraph of section 8, which refers to the severance package.
Okay. Going on here, I got some questions for our city attorney. Does the employment contract between the city attorney's firm and the city serve at the pleasure of the city manager?
I'm not sure as to the contract. It's been a minute since I've read it. Our understanding and it has always been the position of Foldswalker that we serve at the pleasure of the commission.
All right. Well, that's an opinion, but the question is what the contract dictates. So as this commission has not approved an actual contract between Folds and Walker, signing on behalf of the commission would have to dictate that it's the city manager that holds that pleasure.
I believe under your charter, under your ordinances, and under our interpretation of your contract, we've been hired through your city manager to serve at the pleasure of this commission.
Okay. Mr. Manager, do you have access to?
Not at this moment on the dais.
Okay. Because the next question goes is, if you're serving at the pleasure of the city manager, is there a substantial risk to your advice on this contract? And is it material to the personal interest? Oh, sorry. Sorry, guys. Because I do have an email stating that it is the belief of Folds and Walker that we act as through the city and through the commission as what's the definition? The client per rules regarding the Florida bar. But my question is if the city manager actually holds the power to terminate the contract at his own free will, is there a substantial risk to your advice on this contract? And is it material limited by your personal interest?
So I do have now the legal services agreement in front of me. It's an agreement between the city of Alachua, Florida, which is governed by this commission, and Folds Walker. So we are not serving at the commission at the pleasure of the city manager, though as wonderful as he may be, city commission is who we serve for.
So at nowhere in that contract it says serves at the pleasure of the city manager.
We do not serve at the pleasure of the city manager. We are designated as the attorney in the firm as a city attorney under your charter.
So the reason why I want to go forward with that is there's a lot of stuff in here that I'm trying to understand. And I want to just verify that that was the first thing, the big thing with that. If we jump to regarding where is it? Hold on. Okay. So my question here is under sections regarding automobiles. I think that's what section 5D. It's a very broad there. So my questions is what make, model, class of vehicles is included in that? What is the all-in cost? Because personal usage can be considered fringe benefits, how will this be reported as a taxable benefit? And then what is the replacement and schedules on that? And then after the terms of service of the contract, what happens to that vehicle? And if these things are things we do know, can we have them added to this contract?
So Commissioner, I will default to city staff regarding the specifics of the make, model, et cetera. Those will be outlined more clearly in the additional agreements that you have with the city manager. The practice of the city has been to provide for an automobile with the language used. I'm happy to add additional specifics if there are additional specifics, but I would default to staff for those.
Mayor, if I can clarify, Madam City Attorney, has there been any changes to that paragraph from the previous contracts?
There have not.
Just want to clarify, we didn't vote on the last contract. I don't believe so. It was to enter agreement on the behalf of Ms. Rush.
Just to clarify, there was a vote on the interim city manager contract. And again, that paragraph has not substantially changed at all for the last couple of contracts.
So then I guess we jump back to if we're finding flaws or concerns now, based off of historical patterns, should we ignore them?
Mr. Mayor, I have a question. What is your concern about the automobiles?
My concern regarding this specific section is making sure that we put financial caps on these things. As our responsibility as commissioners, we have a fiduciary responsibility, and that's what I'm trying to make sure we do here. If he wants to, if the city manager so wants to drive a Mustang or a minivan, I don't have a problem with that. What I want to make sure is that we put financial safeguards in place on any of these types of contracts.
So, do you have an automobile preference for him to drive?
Again, we're talking about financial caps on this, not what type of models or makes dictating of that. We're talking about financial caps. And usually what we would do is we would have that with our budget. And so saying the amount of, we would like to cap such as $40,000, $50,000 for personal use. Because it is in here, it is for personal use and city use. So if we want to do that, we want to make sure we're being responsible and making sure there are limits to that. Also clarifying what happens to that vehicle after, right? Again, we're going off of what the contract says. And because I believe it's in section 13, I believe it is over there. In the event of any ambiguity or question of intent or interpretation arise, this contract shall be construed as if jointly drafted by the city and employee, and no presumption, inference, or burden of proof shall advise, favoring or disfavoring either party by virtue of authorship or any or all contractual provisions. And what that basically says is that if a judge were to review a dispute, there is no inherent bias to one side or not, which is good. It's good. But what that does mean is that if we want to make sure things are very clear, we have to make sure our contracts are clear. And so that's what I'm trying to do here. Because honestly, we have already, the interim city manager contract doesn't expire until June. Okay. We've already passed a motion for Mr. Valadares to be city manager. What I'm just asking here is let's take some time and make sure that all of our T's are crossed and our I's are dotted instead of trying to rush into this, right? Because time is not an issue on this. If what Mr. Valadares says is true regarding this is already similar to a previous contract, which my understanding those previous contracts were same as the ones before him and before him and before them. Maybe we need to take a moment as commissioners and with legal's help, take a look and see what we need to update regarding that. And so that's what I'm trying to get here is again, it's not regarding Mr. Valadares' fit for this position. It's making sure that the contract we enter, all right, as the responsible entities of our taxpayers' dollars is making sure we do everything in our power to make sure we are responsible for this. And I feel the way that the contract currently is, there's concerns with that, and I think that can be solved in a workshop.
Mr. Mayor, did we offer a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I will offer a motion then. I move to have the employment contract regarding, I'll say this, the city manager contract. Is that the correct title? Go through a workshop process so we can actually discuss these things in real time with our legal counterparts and draft this as a normal contract would be done.
Is there a second? If there be no second, the motion is.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve the contract and authorize the city mayor, authorize the mayor to sign with the expected corrections.
Mr. Mayor, due to the legal nature of this, please have the expected nature of those corrections written out before we vote on this, please.
I'm happy to summarize. You just tell me if this is accurate based on what you'd like to move. I have correcting the wherefore clause to delete interim. I have correcting the provision and adding the city manager's address in the notice section of the contract. And then I have correcting section 8, subsection D, where it says paragraph A to reflect paragraph B.
With those corrections, I will second.
It's been moved to second. We have comments from the citizen on the subject, not on the agenda, on the motion.
Mr. Mayor, Tamara Robbins. Mr. Mayor, thank you, Commissioner Fletcher, for doing your due diligence on and your fiduciary obligation regarding the public coffers. I have a really big concern about the fact of that the city attorney, Walker Folds, is negotiating a contract with the person that negotiated their contract with them, because you all did not hire Walker Folds. The attorney can say all day long the city of Alachua, but it says serves at the pleasure of the city manager. So that attorney is not a charter officer. And Mr. Mayor, I heard Miss Bailu state at High Springs giving an explanation about the conflict of Walker Folds representing High Springs and the city of Alachua at the same time. And she said in the question of one of the board members that they were a charter officer in this city, and they're not. That is not true. Walker Folds is not a charter officer in the city of Alachua, and you did not hire them either. Right? City manager chose Walker Folds, and now Walker Folds is negotiating the city manager's contract. Gosh, that feels really uncomfortable. So you all need to just slam the brakes on and start doing things legally, because there is no rush to this. As Mr. Mayor's Commissioner Fletcher stated, I don't know what the underlying rush is. It was blamed on me for stating the call out of an upcoming election. I don't know what that has to do with it. But Walker Folds works at the pleasure of Mr. Valadares. And Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, Commissioner Ringerson, that it means I'm sorry. But the truth, you guys just keep doing it. You know the saying, when you dig a hole, and it gets too deep, you should just stop digging? Just saying.
Thank you.
Jim Carrington. I live in the city of Alachua, have for 30 years now. And I guess we could sit and debate in the commission a cap on the lift stations. Maybe lift station 19 needs to be discussed by everybody up here. Maybe we should take a vote by every citizen. Heck, we can't get, 30% of the citizens to vote. But maybe we can get every citizen to vote on the lift station, or every citizen in the community to vote when the date of the Hathcock Center will start. Maybe we can vote on all of these things, but in reality, I think we can depend on you commissioners not to nitpick things to death, except when you need to. And I appreciate Mr. Fletcher's remarks, but we've got bogged down in minutia. A contract for one person. What about the contract for, the school principals? We need to get with the school board and make sure we got the right principals in school. We're bogged down in minutia. We depend on good people. Mayor, do we have a good selection? Some people will say no for the city manager. I say yes. I say we've picked a good person. I think he's going to do a good job, and let everybody else get up here and tell us why they don't like him or why they do like him. We can't have every decision made by the 5 commissioners every day. We have the points brought up. Mr. Fletcher made them. I appreciate him, Mr. Fletcher, but it's minutia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kristen Rubin. I just heard from Mr. Carrington that it sounded like it was a personal vote. And what I heard from Commissioner Fletcher was something that had to do with accounting, being accountable to your constituents for the budget. And I don't hear anybody except one person on your dais bringing up the fact that you need to be looking at the budget for your constituents. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Tom Howard. Thank you all for being here. I know you're not just here for me, but thank you for being here. I truly want this man as our city manager, and I don't want anything to impede that going forward. Mr. Fletcher's brought up some due diligence, and his concerns should be addressed like it would be for any of the rest of you. You all should do that workshop and come back, let us know what happened. That when this man's city manager, there's no lack of trust anywhere. I think Mr. Fletcher, I believe, wants him as city manager also. He's not working against him. He just wants it done right. So please do it right.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Smith. I just want to say that as an interim position, I think we've all, at some point in our lives, we've had an interim position. That's a bad feeling when you don't have the confidence of the people who put you there to put you into a full position. Just either you want me or you don't. And thank you for taking the time, making the motion to bring Mr. Valadares into this position, and understand he is a man of integrity, and he will, I cannot foresee him doing something with his car budget that would seriously affect the city of Alachua. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hello, Nathaniel Warner. First of all, I'd just like to say this is only my third time to one of these type of meetings here, and it's amazing. I never really understood politics at the local level until recently, and I'm overwhelmed by the amount of stuff that you all have to comprehend and read and digest. As someone that's just an onlooker, I can't imagine what you go through. So I'm going to try to make this brief, and I am going off of notes because I'm a little nervous, but first of all, Mr. Mayor, members of the commission, I thank you for giving me a chance to speak. I do have a question, and this is really related to public trust and transparency, and I think that's why it was so nice we had some other people mentioning that. During a period of when several large-scale controversial developmental projects were under review, the city of Alachua saw an unusual number of experienced staff in planning development positions that left. And from my research, there were quite a few times that it was brought up to maybe have an investigation into why that had happened. At this time, the plan and development fell under the authority of the assistant city manager, Mr. Valadares. But there's still been no independent review as to what had happened there. There's been no publicly released findings, no explanation of this to the commission or to the public. My concern is there is a letter that was released, and in that letter there are questions that I believe the public has more questions than answers on. And before moving forward in this, I would ask that when there's several senior professionals that leave during the review of high impact developments, that it's only reasonable to ask whether there were professional concerns that may have been raised and whether those internal pressures could have existed that would have maybe had to do with safeguards, functioning as intended. If everything was handled appropriately, then I believe transparency will only reinforce confidence by the public in this decision. So tonight, I respectfully ask this commission why there was no independent review initiated at the time. Were there any concerns documented by the departing staff? And how can the public be assured that development decisions were based solely on sound policy and science if these questions were never examined? I believe the thing last week, I don't know if anyone got to see the results of that. If that would have been in a court of law, it was proven that the side that was making assertions, it was found to be false. And so I would just ask, if that recommendation from the city was made, why did the people that had a problem with that leave? Why has that not been looked at? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name's Julie Smith. I'm here again. First off, everybody wants to kind of put, the car in the small, tedious things, but what they don't see is the overall picture. I see a police station. I see a public works. I see a park recreation. I see human resources. I see financial. All these departments are overrun, are managed by the city manager, Rodolfo. So sometimes this little petty stuff is like apples to oranges when it comes to what he really has to do on a day-to-day job. He manages the whole city, all the departments. To be able to have that sort of responsibility is overwhelming. Now you have all of those departments that do not have a city manager. They have an interim. It creates foundation to have a city manager. And what I stated before is when, you guys do hire an assistant city manager, then you hire a backup. You can't go backwards. This was the assistant city manager. He reported directly to his boss, Mike. I've reported to some bosses that don't really like. I did what I had to do because I had a family to support. I had a paycheck to make. Doesn't mean I agreed with it. We've all worked for people in our lives where we'd say, hey, we wouldn't do the same thing that they did, but we took direct order from our boss. So you can't go backwards and say, why didn't you do something when another person was at the helm when you weren't? You can only say, what did you do when I've been at the helm and how I'm turning this ship, how I'm making strides forward, not backwards. So you can't sit here and say stuff that happened in the past. And as he brought up about the planning board, that was a vote by these commissioners not to do the investigation, not by the city manager, by you as a body. You guys made that vote, not him. I mean, that's just the way it happened. I was here. But you have to go forward if we keep going backwards, and you have to create that structure. And this man has worked diligently on things we don't even know about. When you sit down and look at a police department, a human resources department, and we have our own electric company. I mean, Alachua Electric is one of the best and cheapest ones in this area. There's a lot more to a city manager than just showing up every other Thursday night or every other Monday night, for this meeting. And to be nitpicking about the little things. Don't get me wrong. I think he should drive the best damn car ever if he's out there doing his job right. That's called a benefit. My husband gets a vehicle. He works for Cox. There's vehicles, they get vehicles. It is a benefit. It is a constellation prize for all the BS they have to put up with. And when you're sitting here and you're doing that, you're doing it every day. I mean, how many employees do we have? I mean, probably at least, 500-600? I don't know. A lot more. To oversee that, it's a big job.
Thank you.
Again, John Havlick, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners, City Manager, and City Attorney, in all due respect. It's, seems like there's, couple varying points of view, understandably. I do think from someone who's been around business and how business is run, there's nothing wrong with just making sure you're getting your money's worth, right? And I think the idea of having a workshop is actually good. I mean, in progressive business, NCCR, when I worked there, we did that all the time. Other companies I've worked for, we do that because you generate ideas. We get a little better product, right? City manager does do a lot. I'm familiar with public administration, so I know what you're up against, and I appreciate it. But I think the key thing here is I actually have another concern. And I've have a little more time these days to concern myself with things. And the last few weeks I was here for upwards of 12 hours over 2 nights, and I think some of you might know why that meeting was going on. What was so important when probably more than 40 people came up publicly to speak against the Terra April development and the permit before the Planning and Zoning Board. That's something I'm deeply concerned about. I also know that as a city commission, you have the ability to abdicate your power to the city manager to rule on that decision that was unanimously declined for the exemption for a special minor utility permit. The one thing I'm looking at long term is if that decision leaves this committee and does not accept the approval of the Planning and Zoning Board, who I would hope are reasonably chosen for some degree of competence, that you've chosen them, reflects on your competence. I would suspect that I'm all about hiring and moving forward, but I don't think that decision should ever come, because the only thing left is, we know what's left after that. There's every April. And we have to look at that, because there's a little bit too much at stake. I have a family here. I've lived here for many years. I like to think I've contributed to the community. My wife's a teacher. She's worked with children. I have grandchildren here. So I just want to make it very clear. I'm concerned about the Terra development and whether this commission is going to abdicate its authority. It better not do it. I hope you don't go in that way. That's what I'm really here about tonight. I'm concerned about the water long term. I don't want to wreck our community. And I think we have an untapped resource, literally, that we could exploit for really good economic development into the future. The great natural outdoors we have here. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit new to this. Well, thank you, everyone. My name is Deborah Havlick. I'm a little bit new to all of this. Got concerned because of the Terra April development. I am understanding that back in June there was talk of a national search for this position, and I would like to know, has there been other interviews besides our interim manager? Can anyone answer that? There was supposed to be a nationwide search for this position because it is a very important position. Has anyone else been interviewed besides him? Can anyone answer that? If not, if there is some still time before his interim is over, can we consider at least one or two other people that we could interview so we could compare? Especially considering that he was there when these other people left and they claimed they felt pressured and that's why they left, related to these Terra Aprils and things like that. So if there is more time, can we please interview other people for this very important position? I would like somebody maybe to suggest that. And is it possible to get an answer if you have interviewed somebody other than our interim? Is there any answers? Is anyone aware? What happened to that search, that national search spoken about on June 9th, I believe? Can we postpone until we at least, I would suggest highly that you postpone this decision until the workshop, until also you interview another possibility. Thank you.
Thank you.
Jackson Humors, Mr. Welch, Mayor Welch, Vice Mayor and Commissioners. This is a question for the city manager. I've heard a lot of things about you, great things about you. I found myself in December in the hospital, and you did something for me that I will be forever grateful for. Thank you for that. But being the man that I hear everybody talk about you are, do you have a problem with waiting for them to do a workshop so that everybody can feel comfortable doing their due diligence and that you can get the contract that you deserve and that everybody feel comfortable doing?
Um, I just want to voice something if it's okay.
Yes, sir, absolutely.
I know you asked him a question.
Mhm.
What I want to voice is we all want to move forward. We don't want to be stagnated, or we don't want to be, we already behind in building, doing the construction on the Hapcott Center. So the thing is we feel comfortable with Rodosa, and he's doing a great job, and I'm quite sure all the citizens agree on that. And so, in order for us to move forward, let us just, if I can use this word, cut the chase, and let us just move forward. I mean, this is a great man, and he's overqualified for this position, and he's doing a great job for the city. And that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the progress. But you can answer.
Well, with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, I don't think it was a question of the job he's done for the city and his qualifications, any of that. It was about fiscal responsibility, and it was about taking a step, taking a beat, and looking at the contract. We all know when we do contracts of houses, cars, whatever it may be, we all know that we need to take a look at the fine print. We need to make sure that everything that we need, and I'm sure he want everything that he want and need in that contract to be in there based on the job that he's done for the city. I'm not questioning anything about anything that he's ever done for the city. I believe I have heard nothing but great things about this man and what this man has done, and he's a Christian and all sorts of different things. However, with that being said, within himself, do he feel comfortable just taking a step back and doing the workshop? It's not going to hurt anything if they're saying his interim contract is up in June or July, whenever that is. I mean, we're talking about the next meeting or the next two meetings or whatever the case may be, So, if he wants to answer the question, he's more than welcome. If he doesn't, that's fine as well.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure, absolutely.
What would you want to see out of this delay? I mean,
but it's not about me, Mr. Mayor. It's
well,
about
you're the one asking the question, so I'm
You're
directing
absolutely
it
correct.
to you.
You're absolutely correct. But that's why I said it's not about me. It's about all these people that are voicing their opinion about, and Commissioner Fletcher and everybody that has questions, everybody have concerns. Again, you guys are up there for the people. We elected you for the people. We elected Rigerson for the people and Brown for the people. So we have, we're in a partnership, you know, together to work together to get to the bottom of things. And I get you want to move forward. However, we know that you have to deal with issues before you can move forward. You have to clean up certain things before you can move forward. You can't just sweep it under the rug and say, okay, well, we're done with that. Let's move on to the next thing. We
Mr.
have to
Mayor,
be very
the gentleman's time is
responsible.
up.
Your time up.
All
Thank you,
right.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
He already answered the question. Commissioner Fletcher asked him, did he read the contract? He said, I read it. He says, ready to go forward with it. He already answered the question. And like you said, and everyone else here, we all can go back and forth all day. But we all have things we want to get done. I love what you said, Mayor, and it is true. We have things we want to get done. We talk about delays in building and stuff, but then we want to delay and nitpick at someone who I have known to be a man of his word, to get the job done, and can and will get the job done. So if everybody got chance of room here and there, but the good book I live by say, don't muzzle the ox that treads out the corn. This man got a lot of corn to tread out. He got a lot of work to do and work on our behalf. And these folk ain't the only folk who give to this city and the only money who goes in this coffer. So as the gentleman said, we get bogged down in minutia. I think the woman said, I stand in agreement 100% within my time with 2 minutes and 11 seconds, 10 seconds, 9 seconds left. I can preach now if you want me to real quick. It don't take me long to get it done. But I'm just saying, it's like we got to move forward, make a decision, unify. And we're not all going to agree, but I think this is a unifier. And that's what we need. We need a unifier. We can do a search and look all around the world for people that come in this city we don't know, who don't know this city, who don't know this culture, who don't know really what's going on, and start all over again and push things back even farther. We have somebody we know, somebody we trust. And everybody may not, but I believe he'll do what he said he's going to do. And we have a commission to keep that in check of people we know. So I understand that we all have questions and things of that nature that we want. But this is a good man. I sentiments with the lady who spoke earlier. I wish it was a car. Really? Really? I'm like, I wish you get the best one he can get that we can afford, but that's not his character. And those things have to come into effect. And no one wants to work a job when someone's nitpicking you and looking over your shoulder at every little thing you do and just always at you like the little nagging little fly. Nobody wants that. Nobody likes that. So we really want the best for our city commissioner. You want the best for this city, commissioners. You want the best for this city. Then let's be supportive. Accountable, yes. Hold them accountable. But let's also be supportive and say we want a good job for all of our citizens, everybody, for all of our citizens. So with 36, 35, 34 seconds left, good job. And I hope he gets this. Let's move forward. I think we already voted that he's our pick. He's our choice. No, keep searching, man. And all these folk in our city don't.
State your name.
Natron Curtis.
Hello, Sori Lindbergh. I just have a process question. At the beginning, Commissioner Fletcher asked City Manager if he had consulted with independent counsel. I was just curious who that independent counsel would be. And based on the last two comments, the nitpicky, there's 11,000 people that rely on this local government. It's not a job that I have and not a job anyone else in this room has where so many people rely on it. Again, not with the person at all, not with the position. I'm just curious about the process of that. And this is about the second time I've seen in the last few months that the idea to have a workshop is not seconded. And people are noticing that. So I was just curious if that could be addressed who the independent counsel was.
Mr. Mayor, the contract indicates that Mr. Valadares had the opportunity to consult with independent counsel if he so chose, with the understanding that communicating with our office was not his legal representation.
Okay. Did you take advantage of that opportunity? Mr. Mayor, I was just curious because he said yes. I didn't know what the answer would be.
Again, the question from Commissioner Fletcher was, did I have the opportunity to do
Okay.
so? And the answer, I had the opportunity to do so.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Commission, staff, I know you guys want to just get to work and get this thing done. I think it's in some ways it's sort of comical to have Fletcher point out that hey, there are some inconsistencies with the agreement, and y'all are just like, oh, you're just pointing out this little thing. So I got a little thing I'm going to point out for you.
I want to make a motion for Mr. Walker to move forward to draw up a contract, a 3-year contract, and bring back to our commission.
I'll second that.
Okay. So you all heard the motion. Draw up a 3-year contract and bring the contract back to the commission. Technically, I didn't actually hear that you guys wanted to hire him. You're just like, let's review a contract. That's what I heard in that motion. So and then it was clarified.
Just for clarification, Commissioner Ringerson's motion is asking for you to bring back a contract for the city manager. So that would go on an agenda, correct?
That is correct, Mr.
And that would give this board an opportunity to speak about the contract. It would also give the public an opportunity to speak about Mr. Valadares being permanent city manager and his contract, correct?
Correct. This is direction to our office to prepare the contract and then bring it back to next city commission.
Okay. I was at the meeting. Y'all were at that meeting. That was the motion. That was the clarification of the motion. In your third whereas, basically you said that that you directed the city attorney to hire him as a permanent city manager. I didn't really get that, but maybe it's inferred. And so I guess there may be a lot of things that are inferred in your direction to staff, in your direction to the city manager that we're not privy to. And so I just want to point out, sorry, these things just keep playing themselves, right? So I guess my biggest concern is that, you guys give direction to the city manager. Hey, do a national search. Doesn't happen. You guys don't follow up. That's not on him. That's on you guys, right? You say, hey, we need to do live streaming. You have a vote, do live streaming. Live streaming doesn't happen, right? That's not on him. That's on you guys, right? So when we say that you guys are going to be overseeing the city manager, are you really? Right? That would be my question, right? And I realize you can't answer that and probably don't want to, but there are issues that don't come to your attention that should from the city manager.
Thank you. Say.
Do you want to close public comment first, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, we did. We ready to vote.
All right. Before we vote, because I think being very topical about the obviousness about contracts and the amount of leeway we give might not have clicked as much as I'd hope. There are other concerns that I have with this contract that I was hoping to discuss within a workshop. So one of my questions is to the city manager, what is the difference between a formal and informal request by the majority of this commission to resign?
I'll defer that to the city attorney who drew up the contract.
Mr. Mayor, I'm happy to answer that question. A formal request is one that is voted on by this board. An informal request is one that is not voted upon. So not a formal request by this body via vote.
What I'm trying to understand here is that any decision made by the majority of this commission goes through a formal process. So I'm trying to understand how an informal process would occur with this.
An informal process, it could occur such that individually, 3 to 4 separate individuals from the commission independently without any of the other commissioners there ask the city manager to resign. So for example, if 3 of the city commissioners had a meeting with the city manager and requested his resignation, it's an informal request. A request of the full commission is a formal request.
And when you were negotiating this contract, did you feel that including the informal language was in the best interest of the city?
Yes, that is standard contract language that we have.
Okay. The second question is really understanding the financial impact of this now that we know that a informal resignation does not need to be, does an informal resignation need to be written down, or does it can be spoken verbally?
I'm not sure that I understand the question.
So you said if the city manager has conversations with 3 of the commissioners that he should step down, does that constitute as a formal request? Does that informal request by each individual commissioner have to be in writing, or does that have to be verbally?
Does not need to be in writing.
Okay, so what we have here is we have a person that can say, these people asked me, therefore we can terminate this contract. Is that correct?
The city manager has the ability to resign under the contract.
Right, but
the city manager always has the ability to resign with or without a formal or informal request for resignation.
Yeah, but the thing is with the resignation from an informal or informal request following the city, they're entitled to severance. Is that correct?
Under resignation terminology, yes.
Yeah, so they can then go ahead and say, Commissioner Ringer sent Commissioner, Fletcher and Mayor Welch all said that I should resign. They didn't put it in writing, but they told me this. Therefore, I can terminate this contract and collect my severance. Is that correct?
Yes, I will note that it's also the case regardless of who has requested.
What I'm seeing
if he
here
resigns.
is that we're allowed to terminate this contract based off of basically unsubstantiated claims. Moving on from there, what is the total cost of severance if we were to enter this contract tonight and then terminate it tomorrow?
The total cost, I don't have a number. It's no more than 20 weeks in accordance with Florida statute.
Right, because that's the golden parachute law. I think it's section 215.425, correct?
That is correct.
All right. And then when we talk about unlimited PTO accumulation, 286 hours, 3 months of COBRA, my understanding is that accrued hours do not include with that, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And COBRA benefits, how does that accrue into that?
So the items which are not considered severance are earned and accrued annual sick, compensatory or administrative leave, early retirement, or other provisions provided by actuarially funded pension plan, any subsidy for the cost of group insurance available, that's your COBRA. So those are the 3 items that are not considered severance under that 20-week compensation rule.
So jumping back here, what is the total cost of severance of this contract when you were negotiating? What were the numbers you were doing when you were saying, okay, these terms are amicable to negotiating on the behalf of the city? What was the numbers you guys were using when dictating the terms of this contract? Was there back and forth? Or how do we determine that this was fiscally responsible for the city?
The determination came from the standard clauses, which are in many of our other contracts with our other city managers in our previous in our other cities, as well as the statutory limitations regarding severance.
So there was none then?
That is not what I said.
Well, we didn't do any, right? Because we said it was 20 weeks, COBRA, 286 hours, unlimited PTO. What is the financial cost? If you said you didn't do that, or you don't have the numbers, then you didn't do it. That's as simple as it gets. So is there a financial amount that if we entered this contract today and it was terminated because Mr. Valadares heard 3 informal requests of resignation, how much would that cost our city?
It would cost the severance portion under the terms of the contract. The exact number amount I do not have for you. That's not typically in the purview of my calculations to calculate under your HR manual.
Okay, so we didn't have finance involved in these negotiations and making sure that was in line with our budget expenses.
The contract was submitted to staff.
Okay, and the staff that reports to Mr. Valadares, correct?
Most of your staff reports to Mr. Valadares.
Okay, so we see an issue there. Okay, moving on. Last thing on here is looking at automatic raises. We go through COLA raises, cost of living adjustments, when we look at flat raises, and we say, okay, staff due to a COLA raise, they get 3%. In our contract, does this allow the city manager to receive an additional raise on that basis?
Repeat your question.
Does the contract, as the way it is, allow stacking of raises from a performance and a COLA adjustment?
I'm getting to the portion regarding the raises. Give me one moment.
And while we do that, the next question on that, what is the cap for performance-based raises?
The cap is statutory.
Statutory, okay. So statutory, automatic, based on performance, compiled by this commission. And when we talk about that, going back to this, can that statutory limited raise on performance be stacked on top of COLA?
That is my understanding. That's correct.
Okay. So what's the maximum this contract allows? If the COLA is 3%, what is the maximum based on state statutes that we can provide a raise for?
It's whatever you all determine to be the raise that he receives under the performance review plus that COLA.
So the performance review here, it makes it sound like it's mandatory if the performance is above average. Is that correct? If the overall collection of it is above average.
It's the results of the review shall be used to determine an applicable merit pay increase.
Okay. So what's the maximum amount of raise we can receive with this contract?
It would be dependent upon the merit pay increase that you have laid out.
Okay. And so I don't have that laid out here. Where would I find that?
I would defer to your HR staff for that information.
Okay. So, Mr. City Manager, what is the maximum allotted?
Again, I gotta go look up those numbers.
So we don't know the maximum amount of raise we can do on here. We know that we can sever this contract over informal conversations. So So let's go here, and we don't know the total cost of this there, and so this conversation is what I wanted to have at a workshop instead of trying to rush it in these last minute things. And so with that, as you can already see, it's irresponsible for us to go through with this contract without fully understanding the fiscal impact of this. And with that, I'll be voting no.
Oh, I would like to ask a quick question before we continue with the vote. Mr. Rodolfo, when is the last time you got a raise?
I did not receive a merit increase this fiscal year.
And previous to that?
Previous fiscal year, I received exceptional performances throughout my peer reviews.
Thank you.
You're through. So we have a vote. You want to say anything?
I was just waiting for you to say my name to vote, Mayor. That's all. I was just waiting.
Oh, okay. We'll start with you, Commissioner Brinkus.
100% wholeheartedly, integrity and all, aye.
Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I meet with Mr. Valadares on a weekly basis. He is an awesome communicator and listens attentively. He fosters engagement. He collaborates in the workplace with his directors and staff. Mr. Valadares is a family man and is a positive example for his colleagues. He exhibits integrity and transparency. He is highly professional, an exceptional leader, and exhibits extraordinary work ethics. He is truly, truly committed to his work schedule, which extends on weekends. He is goal-oriented, organized, and embraces our city values, our strategic plan, and our city's roadmap to success. Mr. Valadares walked into with our approval as interim, and I am delighted to support his appointment as our permanent city manager. He is compassionate and has a positive impact on this city and the citizens of this good life community. And I want to express my highest commendations to Mr. Valadares. Aye.
Mayor Welch, I vote aye. So motion has the vote 3-1. Now we'll move to oh yeah. We'll move to 6 comments from the citizen on the subject, not on the agenda.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Smith. I would just like to ask that the new city manager and the commission up here, as you're looking to go live stream and several other things, I know that live stream was on there, but could you please look into maybe reworking the microphones in here. I sit up there for the planning and zoning board meetings, and the other day I touched the microphone and the foam fell off of it. So that's my request. Thank you very much for all that you do.
Thank you.
Jim Carrington, not on the agenda. Thank you for what you do, all of you. I know it's hard work. Mr. Fletcher, thank you for what you do. It's hard work, Let's all do it, and let's move forward. I would like to mention to you, though, that a lot of comments I hear, I'm wondering where they come from people that don't live in the city of Alachua. Are the people that don't live in the city of Alachua, I certainly want them to be their voices heard on, some of the constructions and properties and underground waters that affect our whole county, affect our whole state. I want them to talk about so many things, but I sometimes wonder, should they be talking about our budget, our cost of electricity, our cost of, lift stations? I don't know. That's for us. That's for Ms. Robbins to talk about, and I agree ultimately to let her talk about those is important. But I do recommend that maybe the people, when they get up here, indicate where they live and how long have they lived in the city of Alachua. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commission, City Attorney, City Manager.
Mr. Brown, could you excuse me? Mayor, could we ask them to step outside if they need to?
You're a little bit too loud. I will ask, can you step out the chamber meeting room, and then you can conduct your conversations, if you will. And thank you.
And could we give Mr. Brown his time back?
I probably don't need it because I'll be very brief. And I'd just like to say this. I've sat back there and I've listened to the comments and the meetings, and it just sounds like a three-ring circus, and that's not good. If we are going to be live streaming to the public, we don't want to be a joke to the people that are going to be paying attention to how we do business in this, what we call the good life community. I've been in meetings of this nature where when you walked in the door back there, you had to sign up as to what you want to speak on, as opposed to sitting down and decide that you want to rebuttal to what somebody else said, and then just make the meetings go on and on and on and on. And Mayor and Commissioner, we might want to just consider those things, because even when you say not on the agenda, people just come up and talk the same thing was on the agenda, which is no respect for you all, and I have a problem with that. We just got to get a better hold of controlling our meetings and being what we call the good life community. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Good evening again, Brian Bisher, High Springs, Mr. Carrington. That's where I'm from. Thanks. Yeah, I drink the water that you all throw in the ground. right? So that's why I'm here, because whatever you guys are doing, I'm downstream from you, and so it impacts me directly. Congratulations, Mr. Valadares. I think it's never been in dispute that he's a fine, upstanding man, great family man, and a wonderful person to talk to. I don't think that's in dispute at all. One thing that I do want to talk about, though, is I mentioned that I drink the stuff that you guys throw away, and I've been up here before, and I've talked about the cross county fracture and Mill Creek sink and how that impacts High Springs and Hornsby and Santa Fe River. Right, and one of the things that, if you recall that map, I don't know if you do, but that dye trace study they did in 2005 actually showed that the water starts at Lee Sink, and they had dye that traced from Lee Sink all the way to Hornsby. And there's quite a few city facilities that are along the pathway of that, including your spray field. And so in the process of me advocating for the people in my area and their quality of drinking water, someone contacted me about 3 weeks ago, and they said, "Hey, did you guys know that the city of Alachua actually has gotten a warning from the state of Florida related to nitrate levels on the spray field?" And so their question to me was, how can we approve more houses if we can't already accommodate what we're spraying out? And so I'm hoping that that's in the manager's report. Oftentimes I find they aren't, and so I'm hoping he at least talks to you privately about these things, because they are a problem. And I know there may be something about, fields next door or something like that being a problem, but if the agriculture venture next door is polluting, you can't just add more pollution just because they're the primary polluter. It doesn't save my drinking water. It doesn't protect my quality of life. And it doesn't protect the quality of life for the people in Alachua. Right? So that's why I'm here. And I think that it's I think there needs to be more transparency. I think there needs to be more openness about what you all are doing and the decisions that you're making. Otherwise, yeah, live streaming will be kind of bad news, right? It's like, I can see why you don't want to do it.
Thank you. If there be no more comments from the citizen, we will have comments from the city manager and the attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Earlier this week, we received accolades from a resident who wanted to share compliments for Drew and Alex, two members of our distribution collection. She explained they were quick to respond to a water pipe that had broken and how they worked really hard and repaired the leak. The resident mentioned that they were very polite, nice, and friendly, and she asked for us to pass this information along to her supervisors. It's always encouraging to hear positive feedback and acknowledging the good work that our staff does do. I also want to thank everyone here who participated in the Martin Luther King event. It was absolutely fantastic, unifying, and showed our city's strength. And then in the same spirit, I want to sincerely thank the mayor, vice mayor, commissioners for your support. I look forward to continuing to serve the Good Life community. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, nothing from me tonight. I think you've heard enough from me.
Well, motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm sorry.
Not tonight. Not tonight.
Forgive me, please.
To address some of the earlier comments regarding public comment, the Good Life community, I know, isn't based on restricting free speech. All right. And to jump into what we've seen tonight, our job as commissioners is to represent the residents' best interests and protect public trust. Rushing the costly contract is not doing that, and it's not how business should be conducted. The role is a serious responsibility, and it requires objectivity, regardless of how long we've known someone or how much we may respect them personally. Tonight, I simply ask for basic best practices. Let's slow things down. Let's tighten our language. Let's remove provisions that reduce our oversight and increase taxpayers' exposures. Those were not adopted. And yet, the majority will call this moving forward. But a rushed process with avoidable defects is not progress. It's how local governments repeat the same expensive mistakes. And unfortunately, the taxpayers will be the ones left paying for them. And finally, in response to an earlier statement, regardless of what orders you are given, you will ultimately be responsible for your actions.
Yeah, of course I do. I don't even know where to start. I guess I'll start with not this last Saturday, the Saturday of going into Martin Luther King. I do help volunteer my time in coaching basketball, and I want to give a shout out to Recreation Department on having basketball all day long, turning the facility around, and having an amazing MLK event at Legacy Park. So I want to thank the staff, the community that was involved, the committees that were taking time for months to plan an activity for the commission and everybody that reported and came to the event on time, and to stand together. If you attended the event, I can't even think that you weren't moved by what things conspired during that day. It was absolutely amazing. I pledged what I feel is important, as well as being a servant in the community, a role model, and doing everything that I can to serve everybody in the community at all times. I was very, very honored to see how the event moved from the second year at a location and the amount of people that attended that event. It's always scary to make changes in things and do things, but it was well executed, well planned. And again, every staff member that was involved, anybody that put time into that, thank you very much for taking that time. Everybody that came today and gave their statements, of course, everything is heard. I feel, as Mr. Fletcher said, the comment of moving forward, I do feel working the comments in the community and the people that came up today is people need to see things that continue to go and be transparent. I don't think we have a more qualified and overqualified person that is going to continue to make sure the city is transparent. Love to hear that we have somebody that is also going, I think he said Jackson, moving forward in seat 3. Again, I think that's fantastic. I think some of the things that were brought up for election and website, I would love to make sure the city manager, we are making sure that we're doing everything when it comes to voting, and in that, and will follow up on that myself. I would like to, I believe these people are in the audience here that haven't said anything. I know must be your parents. So I would like to say thank you. If it's your parents, I'm not too sure, Mr. Rodolfo, but thank you for sitting through and coming to support your son. I guess that adds to the family man. I know that's his beautiful wife over there and 2 of his children, for coming and to supporting your father and your husband. With that said, that's all I have, Mayor.
Mr. Valdarius, personal privilege, introduce.
Thank you so much. It is my great honor to introduce my mother and father. I cannot begin to say how grateful I am for them to see me continue to do the work that I'm doing. Honor your father and mother, that your days may be prolonged. And so I'm hoping that today you can see all the work that you're doing and taking full advantage of the point of privilege. My mother was a Cuban refugee. She came over. And my father was from Mexico and he came over too. So they showed great gratitude and the wonderful thing that this country does. So they've always kind of pointed God, faith, family to push education. And so I am living the American dream. And I keep on going with my sister, Gloria, one of 7 siblings. And so we're fully supported. My beautiful wife, Renee, and she surprised me with my 2 kids, and Maddie. And so thank you for allowing this opportunity to share.
Welcome, and thank you for being here, Mr. Mayor. Those are my comments.
Keep us safe. Chief's not here, but please keep us safe.
Well, if all the comments, and I want to thank each and every one of you for your concern moving forward with the city. And I appreciate you coming out, and I appreciate all the things we heard. And I'm so excited about CarreerSource, what they have to offer, and I know it's gonna impact, especially our youth and even our adults. So I'm excited about that and making a pledge. I enjoyed that. Martin Luther King, I pledged, and it inspired me. And I pledged to. I went back to my old college that I didn't quit. I just withdraw. I had a lot at that time. My kids was all little and stuff, so I had work. But I pledged to go back. And I'm just so inspired about this city and the citizens here. I drive by, I talk to them. I do hot lunches and I do live music for the citizens on some Saturdays, just to get to know them better and to see, what they like and what they love. But anyways, I am so grateful to be a part of this great city, and I'm in agreement to this is the Good Life community, and that's where we focus on. We want to live up to the motto. We want to live up to what it stands for. And division will never work. It will always crumble. So I stick to my motto, and I mean this. Even though we're different and have different opinions, but we're better together. And that's all I wanted to say.
With that, Mayor, I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
This meeting is adjourned.